still cold. I'm drinking my tea still. I'm waiting for that Hawaii weather.
Yes, we'll send you some. Nice warm weather. Brianna's still connecting. Let's see. She's connecting by an iPhone, so we'll give her a little time to join us. And I wonder how the Facebook group is going.
So I'm looking at it and it seems to be going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun seeing us.
Live and well.
Yes. So maybe while we're getting started, Annette, would you, just do you mind? What kind of questions might you have that we could start putting off to the side? We have a presentation prepared. Of course, this is better if it's conversational. So we know what we'd like to share, but as you join, what do you want to know? And where are you in your journey too?
Well, I've been using the Healy for about 2, maybe 3 years now. And I've just started using the Mag Healy in addition. And so I just I've never participated in one of the live webinars. And so I just joined in. I don't even know what the topic is. I just joined in because I saw it was starting and, I want to be live. So I just want to, guys are presenting what it's all about. I'm open for just about anything.
Well, I think it's fair to say that what we have to share applies to everybody, everywhere. I mean, it's specifically around chronic illness, and the information is good for everybody. So I'm glad you're here.
I'm so glad you're here as well. And I love that spirit, right? Be in the moment and be inwardly guided and open and ready to receive.
Well, and I also work as a physical therapist, and I've been trying to incorporate these frequencies into my daily practice. And I'm finding that people are very open to it. And since I've been doing that, I'm getting more and more things that are not your typical PT sort of thing to deal with, like the autoimmune diseases, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, all kinds of things that I never even heard of 30 years ago. And now these people are being dropped in my lap. And I recognize that it's more than just chronic fatigue and pain. It's multi-layered. And so how can I best support these people on their healing journey as I hide behind a PT license?
Or stand behind that license, yes? Well, that's very good. And the whole focus of Healy does begin with health. And I'm Kahu Kahealani, and I began my first journey as a dentist. And I used to say I graduated UCLA Dental School 20 years ago, and now it's 40 years ago. And so I'm actually one of the pioneers of holistic dentistry. So even though I came through the traditional training of dentistry, through destiny, being at the right place at the right time and spontaneous, while I was building my practice, my suite, I rented space from another dentist. And that other dentist was a holistic dentist. And as he spoke and the way that he approached treating his patients was how my Kahuna Tutu taught me spiritually. So it made a lot of sense. It it was more in alignment with the way that I had been raised. And that was understanding cause and effect, understanding that the teeth were related to the different sections of the body based on the acupuncture, Chinese acupuncture meridians, that there is this connection. And I love the background that Renee is using right now. Actually, I'm going to put mine up because it is so important for what we really want to know, how everything is quantum entanglement, right? Let's see. There we go. And I'm going to disappear for just a minute here. So this is an amazing picture of quantum entanglement. And we are these energetic beings, vibrational beings, and we are represented in the yellow with the different chakra or energy vortex points. And then there's the universe. And if you look into the blue, you will see that there is sacred geometry. And what is our relationship here? So as a holistic dentist, I learned 40 years ago that a healthy organ and a diseased organ resonate and vibrate at different frequencies. And that is very important for how we can support our own health and the health of others using the healing. So what I want you to see here is these rays that go from our own being, our vibrational being, into the universe. And what I want you to realize is that every thought, every feeling, vibration, every thought has a frequency, every feeling has a frequency, every perception, how we are perceiving reality, how we are telling the story, has a vibrational frequency. And of course, every spoken word has a frequency, even when we're joking. Every spoken word, and then of course, every performed action. And that's how we are, through quantum entanglement, impregnating the universe that is always listening, and it is always saying yes. And so those frequencies are never forgotten and they are never overlooked. And they go into this sacred geometry pattern. And it is from there that we create our realities. So what we know is that any form of dis-ease that becomes disease, it first starts in frequency. It first starts in spirit. It first starts in vibration, whether that's a harmonious vibration or a discordant vibration. And then it moves into the mind and into the emotions. And then lastly, it goes into the physical plane, dis-ease and disease. And so that's just getting to the root cause of whatever situation we are manifesting, and therefore how we can support the reverse of that is to address mind, body, and spirit for the healing of disease. What do you say about that, Renee?
You do such a great job. So Renee Andresen here. Hi, I'm a holistic health coach and believer and receiver of the quantum healing, and then also the body healing and the mind healing. And so what I wanted to add on to what Kahu says is that we have these tools that can diagnose our energetic field. I didn't know that. It's called BioWell. And to Kahu's point is, first, it's in frequency, it's in energy, it's in our energy field. It shows up way outside of our physical body before it shows up as a disease that's recognizable in our system. So our thoughts and our actions and our history and our energetic footprint, they all need to be addressed. And it's interesting that you can detect it in these places before it ever shows up in the body. But that's not something we mostly know about. And so what I love about what we're going to talk about today is detection is at this point in time in your life is probably already past. You know, you're aware that something's there. And so what we wanted to talk about is what you can do to resolve it. And so Kahu is going to start with the spirit end of things, and I'll move to the body. So my training is in autoimmune disease, chronic disease, as well as mindfulness and mindset. And Kahu is Kahu is my first guru. And I know I'm not probably supposed to say that, but working with Kahu changed my life. You know, I had illness in the body for a long time. And then when I healed from that, there was still some leftover stuff, but also getting my mind back in order and my alignment with spirit was, I was just out of balance. And the universe led me to Kahu, and my life has changed. And I think it's been less than a year. And in that time, working with Kahu helped me realize that I was ready to get my PhD in natural medicine. I'm ready to commit to healing and helping, moving away from corporate society and really diving into the spirit stuff. So I'm just honored to partner with her as my teacher, my kumu. Yeah, so if we're ready, I think what we wanted to do was share some concepts. And if you have questions, or as you have questions, put them in the chat box so that we can capture them. So go ahead.
So Brianna, I just want to make sure we acknowledge, I don't know if it looks like she's on completely now. Before there was an audio. Aloha, Brianna, are you there?
She's here in spirit.
She's definitely here in spirit. And we want to see your faces too, Brianna and Annette. It's always nice to connect heart to heart, eyes to eyes. And yes, I have loved that. And I find it interesting that Healy came into our lives 2.5, 3 years ago, right at when the pandemic was developing. And so, no worries, aloha, oops, we don't want to wake him. Thanks for being here, and we feel your love and your presence. So Healy came along at such a unique period of time. And for me, Healy it's like answered prayer. So the world was changing, and the world has changed and will continue to change. So we're making this huge shift. And so it empowered my practice, because before, people would come here to Hawaii from Japan and all of those places, and we would do sacred ceremony and things on the various islands. And the Healy has allowed for now long distance connections and for Healy resonance frequencies to reach all over the world. And what a great time. It was a rush. People grabbed their Heelys and wanted to learn how to use them. And in some ways, they use them more with the same Western mindset that I have a disease. So what is the program for me to fix this disease? And as a consciousness coach, as one trained in the quantum, in changing your thinking and changing your life. So I was licensed as a consciousness coach for 40 years, learning to take charge of your mindset, your mind, and to use the alignment of your mind to then manifest radiant health or wealth or relationships, whatever it is that you wanted to attract into your lives. So the Healy, what everyone knows is that consciousness, how you use it, it is sensitive to the user. And it's your intention and your consciousness that goes into the Healy, and that can be different for different Healy users. So learning, having a different approach of how we are in relationship with the Healy is something that I really support. So the way that we do that is by first cleaning out our own consciousness so that we can be a vortex of light. And then we are inwardly guided as to how to use the Healy for whatever client or condition that you want to use it to support them. So we want to heal ourselves. We want to be, I say that unhealed healers are out of vogue for 2023. We want to use it. We want to come into alignment. And as a Ho'oponopono practitioner, we want to set right all relations. So we set right our relations with the heavens. We set right our relations with our own thinking, and we'll talk about that. We set right our relations with our own heart. And now the big word, coherence, that is balancing. Aloha, Stephanie. Balancing our heart and our head. Then we want to set right our relations with our own bodies, and then set right our relations with our clients, our family members, and then with our service in the world. And the Healy is an absolute, very important device to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, we're able to dissolve stress. I mean, if for any reason stress would be number one. If the Healy didn't do anything else but dissolve our stress, it would be a reason to use the Healy. And yes, let's put on some of the slides.
Okay. Yeah, and Kahu, so, the World Health Organization determined that stress is one of the top diseases that we have. So one of the top contributors to our health is considered is stress. I know.
Yes, it's considered the silent KILLER.
Yeah.
And those of us in the medical field, we know it, but up until now, we've only had coping techniques to plod through. And so learning how to use the Healy to support your own body from stress is very important.
Yeah. So, okay, so we've got the presentation up, and welcome, Stephanie. And we've got some people that are watching in the group and online. So just want to say hi to everybody, and please drop any questions you have into the comments, and let us know what you're interested about. So here's my guess is you want to know how the Healy can help, and then you want to know what else can help. And so Kahu's going to give some education on frequency, and I'm going to get into body, health and lifestyle and food. And there's a chat. So I can't see the chat because I'm presenting, I think. Oh, I can. Okay. Okay, I can multitask. This is exciting.
You can.
Okay, so let's get into it. So Kahu, you are first, and you're starting with the mind. So we're going to dive into that.
Okay, perfect. So the mind plays such an important part for our healing. As in the beginning, when I've shown that that's how we are creating reality. It's with every thought, with every feeling, with every perception, with every spoken word, and with every performed action. So we want to put those in place. We want to harmonize our language. We want to harmonize our thoughts. We want to do self-inquiry so that we can see what negative, limited beliefs that we might be holding that are blocking our healing. Okay, or that may have even created our healing. Renee, as you've spoken before about Lyme disease and chronic disease, that it can come from trauma. I know in my own life, when I was diagnosed in 1999 with lupus, clearly it was a very hurtful, traumatic divorce that I had gone through, and I didn't know how to protect myself energetically from the hurts that I was experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that traumatized my immune system.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that and addressing those hurts and those subconscious wounds freed me and guided me to then make right choices that led to right health herbs and things that I used in order to heal myself of lupus in 6 months. So your mindset is very, very important. And there can be lurking ideas. Let's go to the next slide. There can be lurking fears. Just yesterday, a client wanted to know if he was experiencing any symptoms based on the time waiver of Parkinson's disease. And in working with him, I found out that his father had died of Parkinson's disease. So lurking in the mind was a fear that he might be walking in that same pathway. And so as a consciousness coach, we want to catch those subconscious beliefs. And we want to understand that the body is woven from the light of heaven, okay? And so we use the work of Joe Dispenza. We use the work of Greg Braden. We use the work of Myrtle Fillmore, who founded the Unity Ministry. And their whole ministry is on change your thinking, change your life. And she healed herself of tuberculosis back when so many people were dying of tuberculosis. And she was given only 6 months to live at the age of 40. And through the process of changing her mindset, which is really changing frequency, it's changing her vibration by dissolving out limited beliefs. She embraced that the light of heaven lived inside of her body. And she, instead of 6 months to live, she lived another 45 years to 86 years old, and created a whole Unity ministry around the importance of changing your thinking, changing your frequency, and changing your life. So when we work with anyone, we want to go into their thought processes to see what areas where we can actually, or you have the power within you to raise your own frequencies and vibrations through spoken word, through thought, etc.
Yeah, you know, Kahu, you're just speaking and you're reminding me that, so when it comes to these chronic illnesses, so Lyme, for example, you have an infection and it's bacteria, and you either fight it off or you don't. And usually the medicine fights off the bacteria, but the Lyme is in the body and the disease could have started. And so there's kind of no medicine for Lyme. There are treatments, but it's pervasive, right? It hits the body in all different ways. And then similarly with Epstein-Barr virus or chronic mono, it's in your system. It's like a seed that plants, and it either grows or it doesn't. So like our thoughts about these diseases, they grow to fertilize being ill, or they grow to fertilize healing. And so we focus a lot on the medicine and what can I do to, cure this thing. And as much as the body is important, the way we think about our health and our story and who we are in life affects how much fertilization goes to the seed of the disease. And so when you're talking about changing your frequency, it's like frequency that business out, frequency that Lyme, and frequency it away. So we got to, and so there's many ways to accomplish that. And so there's two elements that I'm getting from this, and it's how we think about what's going on and what happened and what caused this. And but there's also, that's work that we do in our mind and in our brain. Whereas what I certainly found with the Healy is that I didn't have to work so hard. It was always like working for me on things that I couldn't get to. And so the association of frequency and thoughts, I wish I knew that sooner in my journey of, illness. So I just wanted to evangelize what you were talking about there.
It's absolutely incredibly important. and to know that there's power in that. And the reason I've chosen this particular photograph is to empower you to understand that your conscious intentions are in relationship with your outcome, with your reality, with your manifestation, and that this is the creative power of the universe. And what I love about this is this little boy is who you are. And we are in frequency. We're surrounded by sacred geometry, by the tree of life. And as we have conscious intentions, then that's how we get the manifestation of what we want. So we want to first ask if we want to be healed. Okay. We want to first line up that we want to choose life. And as I say that, I have chicken skin. That is how important this inner work is, and that we set these conscious intentions to heal. And it has nothing to do with what the doctors say. It has nothing even to do with what the data, the blood tests say. I have met a man who was diagnosed 50 years ago with stage 4 or 5 prostate cancer. And he was sitting next to me discussing it. You see, there are tests where the lab mixed the results and they gave the person who didn't have cancer, they gave them a diagnosis that they did have cancer. And they gave the person who had stage 4 cancer the clean bill of health. And the one where they gave him the clean bill of health, he went on and lived. And the one that was healthy, that they mixed the lab results and gave him the one that he had stage 4 cancer, died. These are scientific, documented cases. And that's how important conscious intention is. And that is frequency. So I've taught this, and it's tough to change a habit until it's not. Okay.
Do you want me to go to the next
change a
slide?
habit until it's not. It's
Well,
impossible until it's not, you see. So we want to create that avenue of possibilities within ourselves for whatever we want to manifest. So if we want to manifest life and health, we got to hang out in possibilities. We need to write the imagination and the intention and the conscious scripts of what we would do if we were healed. How would our lives be? And this is where the healing can incredibly come in there, because we have all of those mental balance programs that we can use, that we can shift our addiction to struggle, or our addiction to worry, or our addiction to fear. We can shift that using the healing programs. And so on this slide, it shows that we do need to go to the root cause, which can be in those thought patterns. So when we get a symptom, that would be what we see on top of the surface, okay? And so we may have thought we were healthy until we got the symptom. But we may have been building this iceberg underneath for maybe years before. So health is not just a line of demarcation, it's a gradation that we are becoming less healthy. And then when the symptom shows, then there is dis-ease. And so we have the power now with the healing to dissolve the unhealthy aspects even before they show as a symptom, because the healing is sensitive enough to measure at a cellular level what energetic dynamics and blocks are. And that's what it addresses. So definitely addressing the root cause.
Yeah, Kahu. So I think if we just pause right here, because this concept is like, it's so big.
That's true.
So I think the way I understand this now with my training is that, again, it's, you know, we have this energetic, everything has an energetic field. So if you think about it, you know, my heat, somebody sitting next to me feels the heat of my body. So that's like proof that there's energy that we can't see. And there's so much more energy that exists. And so what I was saying earlier is these things, this disease can show up in our energetic field before it ever shows up in the body. And so what I'm understanding is that what the Healy does is it works in that energetic field before it hits the body. So it can do a couple things. It can prevent something from coming into the body, but then it can change the energetic field to help get it out, you know, to create that disharmony with the disease to help, you know, stop, what did I use? Fertilizing the seed. Yeah. And so you're saying getting, so that the root cause is in frequency. And so getting that in alignment is the goal. And so, you know, Kahu, I think what you were mentioning is, are there any specific programs that somebody might have that you might recommend that they run frequently when we're talking about things that are bacterial and viral? And, or do you say it's not, there's no silver bullet, Renee? And that's an okay answer too. But I know people are.
It's a very good question. Okay. And the way that I work is because you can have the same diagnosis and they're two different root causes. Okay. So even when I practice dentistry, I would have a 2-hour medical history consultation before I would even get into the mouth. So that's why I offer a free meet and greet where we connect and I find out what's happening with that particular person in their lives, mind, body, and spirit. And then, like these lines, it begins to come together as to the appropriate protocol with the healing. Now, the healing does have all programs. So you can scan the all healing and it's very reliable to tell you what the top imbalances are. So
and that's the one where you use the fingerprint, right? That's the fingerprint one.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, what I do in working with a person, okay, then we put together a protocol on exactly how to use that healing to resolve. And the healing is not a magic button, as I'm sure you want to talk about. There are other things that you must put in place to have complete health. Oxygen, living waters, right? Proper diet, lifestyle. just because we have the healing, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's why it's very important to work with the intention and the mindset. So you put together a holistic program for a particular outcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, is because when something becomes chronic, it's like a spider web. There's so many connection points and tentacles, and they're all woven together. And so doing that detective work to figure out what is the root cause and to work on all those pieces. Trust me, I wish there was a silver bullet. And I am sure that people who have experienced this and are dealing with this, like they've been through that too. So I just want to pause for a minute and ask, are there any specific questions that we can answer for anybody here now? And you can come off mute or put them in the chat window. Just give us some guidance on, is there any one specific question that you might have about the healing that we can answer?
Or healing.
Or healing, right? I mean,
Yes,
right, healing
absolutely. Healing
Yeah.
is the focus.
Right, yeah. And if you don't, that's fine. I think what I'll do now is I'm going to go into the presentation and see where we are at. Make sure you had the chance to cover all your points. I think there's just one thing left, and then we'll move into the body stuff, the diet and nutrition. And I'm sharing now. Okay. Yeah, this is just anything more you wanted to say.
Don't believe everything you think. So when I work with a person, because we understand how consciousness and intentions play such a big part, I have you monitor your state. For instance, and maybe this will be good. Let's don't share. Let me go back and ask you right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being HELL and 10 being complete joy and bliss, what number are you right now? And please, you can speak and tell us or put it in the chat. What number are you?
Because 0 is HELL. I've learned from you to not say the words.
That's right.
Because I don't want to
That's right.
manifest anything. Okay, so 0 is HELL and 10 is heaven. So the question is, right now, where are you on the scale? Yeah, you do this to me every time, and so now it's like
Absolutely.
ingrained in my brain when I'm doubting the world. I'm like, what's my state? Yeah, and then there is a specific question too that is in the chat window.
So numbers. So we got 8, we got 6. What else? Come on, you guys. What number are you? And don't think about it. And there is no right answer. It's only an inner integrity answer. We want to know where we are right now. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being HELL and 10 being complete bliss, what number are you? Okay, so we got some 7s, some 6s, some 8s. So this has saved marriages before. If you are a 6 or less, do not believe your own thinking. If you are a 6 or less, do not believe your own thinking. And so it's not to say it's good, bad. No, it's just inner, what's going on. And you can tell what kinds of thoughts that are running around in the consciousness, creating your reality. So if you are 7 to 10, your thoughts are radiant. They are higher frequency. If you are 6 or less, your thoughts are more contracted. And therefore they block your good, they block your health, they block your finances. So we want to be aware, we want to be conscious of what we are radiating out into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So the suggestion is to check in 3 times a day. Just check in, what number am I? Okay. If you're a 6 or less, you know, you do not continue the conversation because I'll say this about the ego. The ego defends, justifies, and attacks. It's not quite looking for a solution. So you don't want to continue the conversation, even though you know you have a good point. If you are a 6 or less, you separate from the situation and you go and run your healing. Okay.
If I'm a
You
six or less,
go.
yeah, that's cute. You take a break. Hey, Kahu, real quick, there is a specific question from Stephanie about always getting confused how long to send frequencies. Would like to get guidance on this. And you know, this is a good point too, because they're pre-programmed to go a certain length, and I always just run them for the length of it, and sometimes I can't finish it all the way. And so I hope this is along the line of the question. So how long to send frequencies?
How long to run the frequencies? So whenever I get a question, I ask, where are we going? Okay. Because your destination of where you are wanting to go, the goal, would lead to a variance of answers there. So I would need a little bit more information about exactly what the intentions were, what we were doing. There are suggestions in the manual. And as you become more experienced within your own self, you will have inner guidance as to how long to run a program for whatever the goal is. So it depends on the frequencies. Obviously, it depends on the condition that we are addressing and where you're going. What is your goal of that particular? I am available to give you more detailed guidance on that. So please do connect with me and let's set up a private Zoom and I can support you completely.
Thanks, Kahu. So I think maybe moving on to, I'm just looking at the clock and this has gone by so fast. So first of all, in summary, when it comes, mindset is first. Mindset and how you feel about yourself, how you feel about and what your belief system is really important. And one of the root causes of, you know, how disease manifests. Is that kind of the point of everything?
Consciousness and mindset is everything.
Everything. Yeah.
It's everything. Right. Because it is from your consciousness that you are even interpreting reality. And so for your own personal goals or the goals of your client, you need a clear, aligned mindset. And that does take some practice. I do have a 12-step manual that I've put together from my own 40-year journey that it's called the inner movie method of mind management and mind mastering. And it will put you together to where you are conquering crisis, challenge, and change by choice, that you learn to respond to life instead of react to life. And yes, the Healy has completely supported my clients to actually attain the ability to live in a beautiful state, to live in a state where nectar's dripping on your heart in every moment, no matter what. And that is the highest place. That is the place that we want to, as healers and as those who want to be healed. Okay, it's just number one.
Thanks, Kahu. And I'll just, I would agree with you in that what you helped me learn is that I actually create my own reality. So I'm the dream weaver. Okay, so now we're going to dream up some body stuff. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, so we only have 10 minutes. So I'm just going to get to the bottom of what I wanted to say very quickly. So when it comes to, Renee Andreessen, I'm a holistic health coach. I'm trained and educated and experienced in functional nutrition. I have overcome EBV myself. And I started with my journey in healing from chronic Epstein-Barr virus. I had it for 40 years, didn't even know it. It was plaguing me. I was just tired all the time. I had anxiety. I had digestive issues, and I kept going to the doctors, and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. And I was like, no, something is wrong with me. And so I had to become my own advocate and learn how to heal. And when I learned how to do that, I thought everybody needs to know this information that I know. And I don't understand why all the doctors don't know it. That has been, so anyway, so I'm not saying that doctors are bad. I'm just saying that when it comes to chronic illness and things like viruses and parasites and bacteria, there's something else going on. And so when we look at the body, what is medicine? The medicine is how we eat, our lifestyle habits, how we move, how we relate to people and the universe, frankly, and what are our thoughts and beliefs. So Kahu, definitely talked about the healthy thoughts and beliefs. And hang on, my son is eating dinner, so he's eating chips right now. So you're hearing some chips. So here's the bottom line. When it comes to health and the body, the gut is the key to overall health. It all starts in the gut. So usually when we have chronic illness, we also have digestive issues or digestive symptoms. And the way that they show up is in brain fog, anxiety, and things aren't just moving very well down there. So we get bloated, we feel fat, and so the root cause of chronic illness, one of the reasons why it becomes chronic is because we can get out of balance in the bacteria in our gut. And because usually with these kinds of chronic diseases, at some point in time, we've had antibiotics, because that's the first line of defense. And they have a very strong role. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. The bottom line is those antibiotics, they create imbalance in the gut, in the bacteria. And so the resolution for that is to get it back into balance. Because what happens is when it's out of balance, the immune system lowers. And what we need to do is rebuild the immune system. And so the way that we do that is by focusing on the gut so that it's healthy. And all of our immune system, I hope you know this, is that the immune system is largely in the gut. And when we kill the bacteria, we're actually killing the immune system. And so then what can happen after that is there's a diagram over here on the left, and with such little time, the bottom line is when we have out of balance bacteria, what can happen is the bacteria that we don't want can attack the gut lining, and it can create holes in the gut lining. And then our food particles and other things get into our bloodstream. And then the immune system kicks on and it's overactive. And so the major root cause resolution for anybody with a chronic illness is how healthy is your gut and how do you get it back into balance, because so that your immune systems can build up and your body isn't so much worried about protecting you from this problem in your gut, and then it can turn to working on the virus or the bacteria itself. So when something becomes chronic, the gut is the first place to start, and it doesn't matter if it's Epstein-Barr virus or Lyme or autoimmunity. And so I think what I'll do is I'm just going to get to the good stuff is with time that we have left is the most important thing we can do is stop foods coming into our gut that just create balance and grow out of balance. And that's dairy, wheat, and sugar. So I help people, there's this diet called the autoimmune paleo diet, and following that actually helps heal the gut and it helps rebuild the immune system. And it stops more than just dairy, wheat, and sugar from coming into your body that create more out of balance. So frankly, the foods that keep us in balance is fiber. So I don't have enough time, but fiber is what helps ferment the right kind of bacteria in the gut that we want. So if we don't have enough fiber, we get too much out of balance on the bad bacteria. And so by increasing fiber, we can increase the food for the kind of bacteria we want. So you just got to eat more fiber. 25 to 40 grams a day is what we need. Most people get maybe 10. So whatever you do, start paying attention to fiber on any packaged food that you eat. I'd also recommend that you eat vegetables. Like if there's a cure for anything, it's vegetables. Nobody died from eating too many vegetables ever. Right? So we kind of avoid them like the plague these days, but they're so beautiful and they have everything we need in them. Because these also help cleanse. So the thing with Epstein-Barr virus and Lyme is that we usually have a high toxic load. And the best thing we could do is turn on our natural ability, which is our liver and our gallbladder and our gut, to get the bad stuff out. We have a natural filter, and eating the fruits and vegetables and things that are green help filter that out. I'm just going to speed around this stuff. So how do you improve your immune health so your body can rebalance and fight the bugs naturally? And the answer is through the gut. So gut health is the key to overall health. It affects everything: our serotonin, our happiness hormones, our female hormones, vitamin B recycling. It all happens in the gut. The gut is like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet long in total. It's a universe on the inside. So Kahu's talking about the universe on the outside. I'm talking about we have a universe on the inside. It's a whole solar system in there. And how we eat and how we think, how we sleep, how we move, those are the greatest impacts we have to the quality of our gut and the health of our gut. So if you have any issues that are chronic, virus or bacteria related, or chronic fatigue, we start in the gut because it's the root of our overall health. So that's all we have time for. If there's any further questions, or Kahu, if you want to add anything, now would be a great time.
Okay, there we go. Well, that's incredible. Yes, yes, and yes. So with the time waiver, I have the ability to customize an expert program. And I do have programs for Lyme disease, for chronic illness, for Epstein-Barr, etc. And I don't really like to make a list of all of the possible expert programs that I can do. I discourage shopping like that. Again, I rather do a meet and greet so I can really personalize and customize a program that is specifically for you. And then I go to the database and put together a customized program.
So to recap, because we got to close here, we're at the 8 o'clock mark and who knows what time it is. But so we're, thank you so much for coming and listening and being interested in your health and how you can help. If we can help you, reach out to us through Facebook, just DM us or comment us. I also provided a link in the chat window over here that has specific recommendations for herbs, essential oils, and foods that help to build the immune system. So I think the point here is we're sharing a general information, and the truth is you are unique. and the solution for you is unique. And if you need help, just reach out to us and we'd be happy to chat with you. Any other
Absolutely.
questions? Yeah.
Yes, the emails, because
Yeah.
we have the free,
Download. Yeah.
what's the name of the download?
Strong Immunity Guide.
Yes.
Strong Immunity Guide in the chat window. Sign up, get free information, and thank
And
you.
I put my websites in the chat as well.
Oh, yeah.
So please do connect. We are here to support you completely.
Any final questions before we wrap up? And thanks for
Or
being here.
things you want to say.
Yeah, anything you want to say, contribute. On the spot. Okay. Okay, going once, going twice. Thank you so much for joining. Hope this is helpful. It's our first time doing this. So if you have any suggestions, we'll take those too. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah. Have a good evening all.